All right, well, a light-hearted comment at the Bengaluru Tech Summit 2025 has reignited a very serious debate about Bengaluru's crippling traffic crisis. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla quipped about the city's congestion during the Future Makers Conclave. Let's listen in to what he said before we begin.
I'm coming all the way from the other side of the Bangalore, Marathahalli. So I've spent thrice the time that I'm going to be spending on this presentation with you. So you have to look at the commitment that I have.
Well, the audience burst into laughter the moment he mentioned Marathahalli, an area notorious for its narrow roads and chronic bottlenecks. But the humour has sparked frustration, with many saying that the joke reflects a lived reality for millions. Responding to the remark, IT and Minister Priyank Kharge, who was present at the event, assured that such an experience will not be repeated. However, the episode is being viewed as an embarrassment for the Congress-led state government. This is not the first time the city's traffic has made headlines. Recently, Hotmail co-founder Sabir Bhatia asked bluntly on social media, "How are you people tolerating this every day?" The remark has also found resonance amongst industry leaders. Biocon founder Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw has repeatedly flagged the issue. In October, she quoted a visitor from China who questioned the state of the city's roads and cleanliness. Infosys veteran Mohandas Pai also sarcastically advertised a 4-day, 3-night Bengaluru traffic tourism package. All these quips and Twitter backlash aside, Bengaluru ranks amongst the worst cities in Asia for congestion. And according to the 2024 TomTom Global Traffic Index, the city is the third slowest in the world, behind Barranquilla in Colombia and Kolkata. Drivers here take more than 28 minutes to travel just 10 kilometers, adding up to 132 extra hours on the road every year. The city's outer ring road, home to nearly 500 tech companies and used daily by 8 to 10 lakh commuters, remains one of the worst choke points. Estimates suggest that vehicles burn nearly 3 litres of fuel just to travel 1.5 kilometers on the stretch. No surprise that Bengaluru Traffic Police frequently issues congestion advisories for the ORR. As Bengaluru races to become a global tech powerhouse, its infrastructure continues to lag behind, and a joke that triggered laughter on stage has once again forced the city to confront a problem that's no longer funny. We'll talk about this with people who live in Bangalore and who understand what is being done and what is not. Brinda Adige, social activist, with us on the broadcast. Shekhar Vijayan, political commentator and a resident of Bengaluru, also joins us on the show. Seema Kausar, activist, is with us on the program as well. Last but not the least, Sandeep Anirudhan, convener of the Citizens Agenda for Bengaluru, is also with us on the program. Brindaji, I'll begin with you. Well, just as in North India at this point in time, my right to breathe is a fundamental right. Similarly, in a modern society and for a country that's aiming to become, developed by 2047, this is not a good start. In fact, if something like this happened in 1948 or 1949, it would have been considered okay. But we are living in an age where technology, AI, everything is being airbrushed by technology and science, but yet the hub of this of this innovation continues to simmer under problems which the citizens don't deserve. What is your take on what's happening in Bangalore? And do you think there will ever be a solution to the woes of the citizens? Because from what we see and hear, that the corruption is so deep rooted, it's government agnostic.
Yes, it is government agnostic, because you and I know that this has been going on and on in every cycle of the government that has come into Karnataka and has been governing us. And like you mentioned, corruption is number one, almost the agenda, looks like, of every bureaucratic department that is here and politician. But the most important, deplorable, is the non-accountability. There is the laws, the policies, and the schemes are made in such a way that you cannot fix accountability. Nobody can be fixed and nobody can be pulled up, challenged, or questioned, because everybody is in the rut. And because of that rut, nobody wants to take the responsibility to fix that accountability on anybody. Now, you mentioned that, the technology, sophisticated technology, it is not something that we are talking about, somewhere 20 years backward. Sophisticated technology at the tip of our, at our fingertips, and the government doesn't want to utilize it. The government is making excuses, putting up plans, giving explanations and reasoning. Like you mentioned, you can laugh at it, but one just looks at it and says, I mean, these are the cream of the society. We're talking of bureaucrats who have written exams, gone through several interviews, and then brought to that space where they are just now. If they can make these kind of plans and present it to the citizens, is it not just a mockery of citizens in mother of democracies? Every time we want to ask a question, they will come back with something else. There's a lot of knee-jerk reactions, knee-jerk plans, and then a lot of eyewash talk. In fact, Sandeep will also tell you that there are a group of citizens who are spending our time. Not only have we paid all our taxes, every citizen, including the beggar out there, is paying our taxes to the government, but we are now forced to go to court. Okay, we say that these are people who are bound by the judgments and verdicts and the rulings given by the court. But here you have the bureaucracy and the politician nonchalant. They are not worried. There's a judgment given, you have to follow it. No, they are not bothered about it. There's a time frame within which you have to do that. No, they are not bothered because nobody's going to pull them up. So now where do we go? Because we every time keep thinking that the courts are our last resort. And when you go there, there would be some action by these people because they are at least accountable to the courts. But no, they are not even accountable. What do we do with them? We need a law. One law to recall the politician who has not lived up to our expectations and has not followed anything that their party has spoken through, so in their manifesto. And adjacent to that law, we also need something where the bureaucrats, nobody has to take permission from somebody else to book these guys for criminal negligence and for corruption. Until and unless we get this, we will no longer be the mother of democracies. Citizens will be taken for a ride and mocked at every step. And we will continue to pay through our nose for everything that these guys are squandering our money for.
Seema Kausar, how do you respond to what Brinda Adige has said that, there is complete apathy. That's the correct word. There's complete apathy towards what the public wants. Whatever the manifestos tell you before governments are elected, I am yet to see any of that manifest into reality once the government takes over. And Bangalore perhaps is at the fulcrum of that non-performing promise that governments make. But, to add insult to injury, Bangalore was also a city that came up very fast. Bangalore was also a city which was inhabited very quickly by corporates and MNCs. So there was a point in time, there was a transitional point in time where the powers that be had the opportunity to change the infrastructure, which they did not. Perhaps that did happen in Delhi. We have Noida, we have Gurgaon. These were all envisaged because Delhi was not able to assimilate all that was coming inside. Perhaps the powers that be at the right time did not focus that Bangalore too wanted or needed something like that.
Thank you so much for having me in your channel. I have little bit disagreement with Brinda ji, what she said. So she's also staying in Bangalore. She knows very well what is Bangalore. Bangalore city is not at all meant for this much crowd. But actually, even when 2006, this Karnataka state started metro in Bangalore. When Manmohan Singh ji government was there in Karnataka, that Dharam Singh ji government was there just to tackle these kind of problems. And and I'm very much thanks for our astronaut. I think he just to show his dedication to the public, he has taken example, and I'm very thankful to him that it give us to explain the traffic problem. I know that all the stand-up comedian are also doing the cracking joke on it, but it is a very he gave the opportunity to us to explain what exactly happening, why it is happening in the Bangalore. See, I wanted to give you one example because when the Deepavali passed in few days before, the whole roads are empty. And we Bangalorean went on roads to see that how roads are empty. So, Bangalore, a city, uh, this is the thing where we are giving so much job opportunities to all over the country people, all over everywhere. Other state are, especially Bihar, UP, many north and northeast states are not able to provide proper jobs to those people, and they
Ma'am, what are you
coming
saying?
here.
I'm not following what you're saying, ma'am. Can you tell me where exactly is this conversation going? Do you support the government in its non-performance of infrastructure, or do you not? I'm not able to make head and tail of what you're saying, ma'am.
No, I'm telling why it is happening. I wanted to bring the other face of the coin in front of the people, in front of the Indian people. So why Bangalore is nowadays on joke part? So this is the thing. Even though, so we have seen why this is first point that Bangalore is not made up for this many crowded. Still, there are so many job opportunities there. People are coming here from all over the state. So this crowd is happening. The second thing, when we have seen there is no, when for the Deepavali and all any festival, when all the other state people went back to their states, we have seen how empty these roads are. I think Brinda and all the Bangalorean will agree to my point that they have seen this, how empty our roads are. But still, we are providing, and our government trying to build double-decker transit system. In Bangalore South, there is a one flyover for the vehicle, and above that metro system is there. Yes, of course, there is delay happening because that is the reason government is trying to make it greater Bengaluru, expand the Bangalore because of the people coming from outside. So unnecessary blaming the government, it is not, it is become a fashion nowadays. But of course, there are lagging is
So
there.
Seema ji, who's supposed to be blamed? Who is supposed to be blamed?
See, it is that means we have to tell that all the people who are coming from the outside to seeking the jobs, then go back to their house, go back to their states.
I somehow cannot fathom the logic that you're putting out on national TV on prime time. Shekhar, I want you to come in here. Do you agree with her that the people are to blame and Bangalore should not have people moving in who are finding opportunities and jobs? Because they will cramp up the system in terms of its availability via roads and buildings?
No, Vineet.
First of all, do you agree with what Ms. Kausar said? Do you agree with her?
Yeah. Vineet, thank you for having me over. I think more than the people, I think you have to look at the system. The problem in Bangalore is there's a problem in governance. There is a problem in the system which is in place. You cannot blame the people who are coming in here to work. The people who are coming in here to work have made Bangalore what it is. So I think Bangalore is an amalgamation of different people coming in from different parts of India. You've got Malayalis, Tamilians, Punjabis, Teluguites, people coming from all parts. That's another discussion. But I think the real point here is, why is Bangalore, if you're talking about tech, you're talking about space, and you're talking about mobility, we cannot talk about that in the same space right now, because mobility has gone out of the window. I was just thinking, when you spoke about astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla,
but do you support the fact that people from outside of Bengaluru should come and work in Bengaluru if there are opportunities?
Absolutely.
Well, so Ms. Kausar believes that is the reason why Bangalore is gone to the gutter because of this.
No, I don't.
And the politicians cannot be blamed. She's completely, given a scot-free label to the politicians of the day.
No, Vineet, I think on the contrary, the government has a lot of work to do here. They have to partner. They have to listen into what the problems are. And this is not something which we've been talking yesterday. Vineet, we have been on so many discussions. We've spoken about the infrastructure of Bangalore, which is so shoddy compared to when we talk about Bangalore being the tech capital of the world. And Vineet, this is not just Bangalore. If you go to different cities in India, I'm talking about smaller cities in India, their infrastructure is much better than us, much better than Bangalore. So I think we need to wake up and smell the coffee in Bangalore. The fact of the matter is, Bangalore is only, there are flyovers which have not been completed for the last 14 years. There are roads which have been dug up perennially. Whenever a downpour happens, it feels like there's a thunderstorm which has happened. People have lost lives here. So I really believe the government should really take responsibility. And rather than blaming people who come in from all parts of India to come and make a living in Bangalore, I think we should focus on what the government really is doing. The government needs to partner with the right kind of corporate people and try to understand what the problem is. They need to use technology well. Right now, they're not doing that. Right now, they're just not looking at the problem. They're just trying to, not take accountability for it, not take any responsibility for it. And this is just a disaster which is waiting to happen. And the fact that like an astronaut, an illustrious astronaut from India, which is Shubhanshu Shukla, to come in and make such an ironic statement about Bangalore, made the ministers wake up, which just speaks about the fact that if we all speak about it, nobody really takes cognizance about it, nobody really notices. Now, because he has spoken about it, they will, I hope they take some action. But the point of the matter here is, what are they doing about it? What is the governance model they have in place? Why are they not taking any action around it? It is not so tough, when you have technology, when you speak about being the tech capital of the world, when you have got so much of intelligence here in Bangalore. Why is it so tough for them to do it? They just have to look across different cities. You look at even Andhra Pradesh, you look at even Kerala, you look at different cities, the infrastructure is so much better. The fact of the matter is Bangalore's grown very fast, no doubt. But that cannot be a reason for the governance being so bad and so shoddy and so, and lacking responsibility.
I quite agree with you. Okay, let's also get Mr. Sandeep Anirudhan into this conversation. Sandeep, I hope you can hear me. Sandeep, what's your take on what's happening in Bangalore? You've been patient enough to listen to a number of angles being discussed. Sandeep, if your video is not going to be on, yeah, all right, there you are. Sandeep, you've been privy to a number of angles and emotions that have been discussed in the last few minutes. Which one do you align with? Do you think that the government is to be blamed? In my opinion, as a citizen of this country, every time something goes wrong, the government should be blamed or should accept part of the blame.
Well, if the government is not willing to take blame, they should be, as Brinda rightly put, they should not be in power anymore. We desperately need a right to recall. And I think we missed the bus when the big anti-corruption movement was happening, when the demand was there. We should have pushed forward and got that, the right to recall. Now, it's very tragic that the city that's called the Silicon Capital of India, the IT capital of India, the tech capital of India, cannot get its basics right. So what I mean by basics is it's about planning and it's about governance. And I'll tell you why there is no excuse for it. Long before Bengaluru started expanding, in 1992, the 74th Amendment of the Constitution came into law. The 74th Amendment clearly says the city should have a planning authority called the Metropolitan Planning Committee. It should form a master plan for the city, a holistic master plan, consulting experts. You're supposed to have experts on the Metropolitan Planning Committee. It's been 3 decades. 3 decades, none of the governments, including the present one, have operationalized the Metropolitan Planning Committee. We don't have urban planners and transport planners who actually know how to plan dealing with the situation. We have all these incompetent, illiterate, ignorant politicians who take decisions instead. How is that supposed to bring good results? We have to have competent people taking decisions, not some MLA or minister who comes up and says, oh, you know what, I love tunnels, I'll build a tunnel. I love flyovers, I'll build one flyover from here to there. How will that solve a problem? You have to have a comprehensive master plan, a comprehensive mobility plan. Only then will this problem get solved. If you go the world over, you take a Tokyo, take a Singapore, take a London, where large populations exist, the only solution is mass rapid transit. You have to have rail-based mass transit system. You have to have a comprehensive grid. If you go to Tokyo, which is exactly the size of Bengaluru, you have 4,000 kilometers of mass transit, rail-based, 4,000. And do you know how many rides they do in a day? 4 crore rides per day. You compare it with Bengaluru. Bengaluru has 100 kilometers of mass transit. Where is 4,000 kilometers? Where is 100? You see the big gap. How do we fill that gap? That's what we should be questioning. Do our politicians talk about that? No. And then Bengaluru with its 100 kilometers does about 10 or 12 lakh rides a day. Where is 4 crore rides? Where is 10 lakh rides? Now, do you understand why our roads are congested? This is why our roads are congested, because we don't have the basic infrastructure that a city of this scale and this size of population deserves. Why doesn't it have it? Because we don't have competent people planning. And why don't we have competent people planning? Because our political leadership is so shallow, so ignorant and so stupid that they don't know what has to be done. And they can't even read our constitution. Why can't they read our constitution when it says you need to have a planning authority, operationalize the planning authority? And once you have competent people designing a master plan, implement it. Why do we have ad hoc projects? You know what? I'm actually, on a humorous note, it's a good thing that, our government, Karnataka government or DK Shivkumar is not in charge of space program. Because if we had a space program under them, they'll be, pursuing tunnel projects and flyover projects and elevated corridor projects to the moon. That's the kind of intelligence they have. I'm thankful they're not in charge of something like that.
Fair enough. We're going to wrap up, but I'm going to give Brindaji an opportunity to respond to what Ms. Kausar had to say earlier on. Brindaji, would you like to respond to that? The government cannot be blamed for whatever is going on over here.
It is only the government that must take the blame, because it is the government that is responsible. It is the government that is utilizing the taxes from the people, not you and I. So how can the government say that I do not want to take responsibility? And whatever Madam talked about other people coming into our city and working, we need manpower, Madam. There are lots of things that are getting built on a daily basis, whether it is roads or flyovers, however haphazard